The United States of America elected a convicted felon to be president of the United States, and said felon likes to get his advice from broken psychos. There's no other way to put it. Listen to this clip of Trump on Air Force One talking about his long, storied relationship with none other than psycho, eating the dogs, eating the cats, conspiracy theorist Laura Loomer.
About your meeting with Laura Loomer and Mike Waltz today and how that came about.
So Laura Loomer is a very good patriot. She is a very strong person. And I saw her yesterday for a little while. She makes recommendations of things and people. And sometimes I listen to those recommendations like I do with everybody. I listen to everybody and then I make a decision. But I saw her yesterday. She was at the ceremony. And she'll always have something to say, usually very constructive.
What did she recommend?
She recommended certain people for jobs.
Adding to the administration, not
Adding.
but not firing?
Well, she'll recommend that too. But yesterday she recommended some people for jobs.
Did she have anything to do with the NSC aides who were ousted?
No, not her.
Did you?
Okay, Laura Loomer is recommending people to work close to the president. And I want to take you down history lane a little bit. She was the one on the way to the debate with Kamala Harris who told him that wrongfully, blatant lie, that Haitian migrants in Ohio were eating dogs, eating cats, stealing people's pets for food. It was a lie. It was humiliating. That should have been the end of his campaign, but we have tens of millions of dumb people that vote. Okay, then he breaks up with Laura Loomer, and Elon Musk moves into the White House, literally moves into the White House, breaks all of democracy, takes a chainsaw, both figuratively and literally, to all of our institutions. Then he decides he wants to try to buy a Wisconsin SCOTUS seat, face plants, completely fails. During this time that Elon Musk is so close to Trump, Laura Loomer's on her channel. Elon Musk is a welfare queen. He needs to get away from Trump. This guy is an oligarch, yak, yak, blah, blah. Well, now she's just squeezed her way right back in. And this woman is giving the president of the United States advice. And I want to play for you a clip of Laura Loomer.
I want to know what people are actually going to do. My life is ruined. Does anybody understand how ruined my life is? I'm sick of it. I don't want to listen to people tell me that I'm a conspiracy theorist. They don't know what it's like to be me. My life is ruined.
I mean, the one thread that all of MAGA have in common is that they feel so persecuted, this persecution complex, perpetual victimhood. Take ownership, Laura. You are a conspiracy theorist. But what's more alarming is I understand a crazy person in solitude, Trump being crazy by himself, Musk being a nut and a drug addict by himself, Laura Loomer broken, probably all sorts of inner child trauma and has been propagandized from right-wing media, her being a nut in solitude. The problem is all of these people have come together and are united, and they are running the United States of America. And Trump could be surrounded by smart experts on the economy. But instead, he's surrounded by billionaires that read an article here or read an article there, and they think, oh, we've got a great idea. Let's pick fights and trade wars and tariffs with this globalized world that we're in right now. And here is where the problem lies. Any credibility of us ever being a partner, once he starts the tariffs and then backs off and then brings them back on and backs off, has evaporated. Nobody on the planet will take this administration seriously at face value as a reliable partner, and they shouldn't, based on so much evidence, but primarily by the people with whom he surrounds himself with. And China has immediately retaliated, and the stock market is again in free fall. Put up the headline. China has announced it will impose additional tariffs on 34% of imports from the U.S. in retaliation for duties of the same amount unveiled by President Donald Trump this week as a part of his aggressive trade agenda. So listen, people are not scared of Trump. If anything, they're like, you're so weak right now. You want to prop up a very weakly positioned Russia. You were the richest country in the world 4 months ago, and you're voluntarily becoming a country that says, hey, we're going to give up our wealth and our standing in the free world. We're going to have a bunch of yahoos running the military that group text emoji war plans. We are a laughing stock of the highest order, and the world is moving on. Here is let's just listen to what Canada has to say about the United States.
The global economy is fundamentally different today than it was yesterday. The system of global trade anchored on the United States that Canada has relied on since the end of the Second World War, a system that, while not perfect, has helped to deliver prosperity for our country for decades, is over.
Okay.
So
everybody's moving on. They are going to continue being a part of a global community. Parts come from this country, are imported to this country to make another part, etc. Can we do things to increase industry in the United States? Absolutely. But these plans should be planned. You don't just completely kneecap an entire economy when the result that you want takes years to implement. It's insanity. But here are other democracies in the world, and here is their response after Trump and these psychos, these crackheads surrounding him, after their harebrained plan. Listen to the rest of these people that are leaders of the free world who used to be our allies just 80 days ago.
But I want to be crystal clear. We are prepared.
The administration's tariffs have no basis in logic, and they go against the basis of our two nations partnership. This is not the act of a friend.
I deeply regret the United States' decision to impose 20% tariffs on imports from across the European Union. We see no justification for this.
they are all unjustified, unwarranted.
Okay, this is just a self-inflicted wound because these people, they're either doing this for sport or out of breathtaking hubris or for Putin or a combination of all of the above. The problem is the bleeding of this doesn't just affect the 340 million Americans. It has a rippling and cascading effect to the entire world order. And they are going to try to block us out of being partners in future economic deals. It is insanity, and other countries are going to come fill this void. Americans like their money. Americans like their markets. Trump, the big let's make a deal guy, is the worst with the economy. And I'll get more on that in just a little bit. But right now, I want to play for you a clip from Fox News and how they're trying to spin this. Let's hear from complete sycophant Laura Ingraham.
Yesterday, Liberation Day. Who's happiest today about Trump's reciprocal tariffs? Well, obviously not Wall Street, not those who raked in big money offshoring jobs. In fact, they're busy trying to scare you into turning on Trump. The sky is falling. The sky is definitely falling.
New fears.
Okay, this is what's so interesting is that, put up the next tweet. The stock market is so bad that Fox News took the ticker off its screen for the first time in their 28-year history. So while Laura Ingraham is selling and peddling this North Korean style bullshit about Trump, she says they want to scare you about Trump. They can't talk about policies anymore because their entire identity is about supporting the personality of a man that has to wear a full face of makeup every single day and is inherently anti-military, inherently anti-democratic, and wholly unintelligent and anti-intellectual. But I want to leave you all with something that I think is really telling. So, the biggest myth that I think has ever been perpetrated on the American public is that Republicans are so good at business, and that the Republican Party is so fiscally conservative, and that businesses just love Republicans. Mind you, the data always shows that Republican presidencies wreck the economy and Democrats always come back in and clean it up. Not to mention that Democrats genuinely try to fight for equality for all, and Republicans only want equality for a few. But here is Mr. Art of the Deal. Here is the 7 largest Dow Jones drops in American history. Number 1 through 7, all Trump. All Trump. The top 7 drops in the Dow were all under Trump's watch. And this man has been on Twitter when Biden was president and said, if the Dow drops more than 1,000 points in 2 days, this should be grounds for impeachment. And of course, we know that these Republican congressmen are not going to grow a spine or, get their balls out of any position that they're constantly in and stand up to this man, because they're scared of, think about it, they're scared of Trump, who gets his advice from Elon Musk, who acts like he speaks English as his second language, and Laura Loomer. This is the craziest of times. This is America's stupid era, and it's going to cause pain and destruction across the board, because so many people are hell-bent on holding up the white man, and they just can't share the world with others. And this is the closing out days of the United States of America as we know it. All right, Pumps and I are trying to get to 1 million subs. Subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you all later.